Well, everybody excited to get the racing underway. All of our teams now on the water. The only question remains, what is the course for the day? What is going to be the challenge out there? Well, let's take a closer look at how this import course is laid out. We are just off the city shoreline and it is a 2-lap import course where our 5 IMOCA teams, they will be fighting for the perfect spot on that reaching start line in the hopes to gain the best breeze and claim an early lead. We're going to have 4 marks to go around with long reaching legs across the wind, and it's going to be a drag race for the sailors, hoping not only to cross the finish line first but also hopefully able to boost the top speed of the day and start this competition with confidence. Final approach into the start line here for the 5 IMOCA teams, and right now there is a battle going on between Biotherm and Team Malizia. Team Malizia being the windward boat, having to keep clear and putting the bow up, and with 15 seconds to go, Biotherm looks set to actually push Team Malizia out. In fact, Team Malizia keeping themselves up here, the German team knowing that the rules are not on their side, they're going to have to go in behind, so it looks set to be a great start here for Paul Meyer and Biotherm. The French team coming off really well. 11th hour racing team off the middle of the line to leeward. Guyot Environment Team Europe getting the next best start in 4th place down at the pin, and then Team Holston PRB at the moment chasing in 5th. The speeds are there. We have got 21 knots on Biotherm right now with Team Holston PRB 18.5 knots. They are trying to get over to the windward side of Guyot Environment Team Europe, who are holding them off for the moment. These 2 teams are trying to come in on the leeward side. First turning mark, it's going to be a left-hand turn and then onto a very short downwind leg, and Biotherm had the lead. 11th hour racing team now with that different head sail choice has found their way through, and they found their way through with ease. They are going to be the boat that rounds without having to avoid anybody else and being able to pick that line. A big ease on the head sail to get themselves around, but the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th is between Biotherm, Team Holston PRB and Guyot Environment Team Europe. Now we've got Biotherm putting the bow down. Team Holston PRB trying to find the right line to get the bow up and going. We were worried that we weren't going to have the breeze to get the best out of these IMOCAs, but the sailors have found it, and potentially we could see some real flying action.
It's really dangerous for boat speed to be over trimmed, and you've got to be watching that and easing, and as you can hear the noise, it's so loaded up and it can be dangerous if you're not used to handling that amount of load on those winches. It's a dangerous operation trimming these sails.
11th hour racing team were in 1st place, but now it's Holston PRB. They are the ones that we can see. We are looking off the boat of Guyot Environment Team Europe, who've moved up into 2nd place. And I'm sure there's going to be lots of discussions on board about exactly how to pull off these maneuvers that you would never normally do in an IMOCA, but they count because the points today are going to be crucial when we get all the way around the world, and those ties have to be broken. So right now, Team Holston PRB are leading at the bottom of that short run, about to go on to that high-powered reach. And Guyot Environment Team Europe, that started that downwind leg in 5th place, now up into 2nd. The foils for Team Holston PRB just starting to dig into the water, and they are going to be crucial for this high-powered reach as the boat starts coming up. Is this going to be a chance to get these IMOCAs flying?
We can see that they've still got their windward foils out, but the boats are heeling enough so the foil is not dragging the water, so they've made that choice to not waste energy moving a foil up or down. And yeah, we can start to see the bow of Holston lifting out the water in the top of the keel coming. So that's a really great point of sail. They're not flying too high. They're just optimizing the position of the boat just above the surface of the water.
And we are on the high-powered reaching leg, this time at the bottom of the course, with 11th hour racing team starting this leg in the unfamiliar position of 5th. They pulled off the line so nicely and they came out so strong from the line, but on this leg they're going to have to play catch up. The team that really outdid them was Team Holston PRB. As we look now, Sam Goodgel just on that windward side. The windward foil of Team Holston PRB just now, as the breeze gets a little bit lighter, dipping into the water. They could retract it, but they've decided to keep things easier on board. We've seen it with a couple of the other boats. Now we go on board with 11th Hour Racing Team, the team that is having to push quite hard. I mean, obviously, skipper Charlie Enright, it was a last-minute piece of news this morning. He's not on board. He tested positive for COVID this week and sadly hasn't yet got a negative result. He's feeling fine, but to play it safe, he's not sailing today. So let's go to the front here because Team Holcim PRB now finishing off that long reach at the bottom, and you can see both of those foils deployed and in the water, and that's the penalty for keeping them in that ready-to-go position.
Yeah, I think the whole fleet have decided that's the option. I think everyone's got their windward foil out, and Holcim PRB furling up their masthead to go upwind on the J2 for this short upwind leg, which means that the breeze must be nicely above 12 knots for them to use the J2, and I guess taking a little bit of the example at 11 Hour sailed so well that first leg on their J2.
Well, I think that there's a penalty for being in first place and having to make that decision, and right now that is the position of Team Holcim PRB, because they have a decision to make, which is not when to jibe, this time when to tack. And at the moment, in terms of distance, well, Team Holcim PRB had 100 meters, but it's ticking down. It's wavering around about 90 meters with Guyot Environment Team Europe just behind and inside.
It looks to me like the breeze is dropping off here, and yeah, they're struggling with that J2, and we can't see any more of those little white horses we had earlier. Is this going to be a shutdown?
I mean, a big rotation here in the breeze, as you're saying. It's a shutdown, it's a shift as well, and in fact, it's Team Malizia that's been lifted on that inside. They are now pointing closest towards that mark, and they've gained hugely, not by sailing faster, but just a better angle, less distance to travel. And suddenly they're looking pretty good on the inside, and I'm having flashbacks here because this is what we saw on the race course an hour ago for the VO65s. So there's no excuse here for the IMOCAs. We knew that the breeze was going to be fickle, but one thing's for sure, right now Team Holcim PRB no longer the boat in first place. That prize goes to Guyot Environment Team Europe. Well, when we started this upwind leg, it was Team Holcim PRB that was in the lead. Then Guyot Environment Team Europe looked good, but look at this Team Malizia. The mark that you can see at the bottom of your picture with the white cube on top, that is where they are heading. And in a few moments, we expect these teams to tack, but as that breeze has shifted, Team Malizia were in the best position to get rotated into first place down there. And as we cut to the helicopter, you can see how strong their position is. Team Malizia, that bottom right-hand boat with that big bow carrying all that pressure. But look at this, we're seeing boats parking up here.
I think he's got Nico Lindven probably driving right now, who's an amazing sailor as well, and I was lucky enough to race double-handed with him a couple of years ago. He's got a great feeling for the boat, so Boris has made the right choice there.
I mean, we've got another race leader here with Team Malizia, but as I say that, actually, just coming into view here from the bottom right-hand side of the screen is the next turning mark, that white cube on the yellow raft. And look at the boat closest. 11th Hour Racing Team, the boat that led at Mark 1 and then let the entire fleet pass on that downwind leg. They look set to retake the lead. 11th Hour Racing Team to the right-hand side of picture, to leeward of Team Malizia, and this should be the high-powered reaching leg, and they're certainly doing some good speeds. I mean, we're seeing 9-10 knots at times, but the angle with that wind shift not quite right for foiling now. Team Malizia, I mean, they've got to be in a stronger position. But at the moment, the only thing that's making a difference is the positioning and the breeze. It is hitting Team Malizia first, and 11th Hour Racing Team are only getting the leftovers. So we have now concluded lap 1, second lap to go, and we are about halfway down this top reach, back to that first mark for the second time. Just as we pan up on the helicopter shot, in the distance is Team Holcim PRB. They are a long way back. Biotherm at the moment in third place, and this is the view from 11th Hour Racing Team, if indeed you needed any confirmation as to just how tight that battle for second and third is. Let's have a listen in.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
This is going to be a crucial jibe. This could be their last opportunity to attack here. So Biotherm in third place, setting up for a maneuver. Second place, it's 11th Hour Racing Team, holding on, and they look set to follow the line of first place Team Malizia, a little way ahead, who have already jibed and now heading off to the finish. Little intricacies, little differences as the designers and the sailors have decided to follow different ways. But right now for Team Malizia, they are coming in to this finish line. We have got about 300 meters to go before Team Malizia and their boat Sea Explorer crosses the finish line, taking the top 5 points. They weren't looking the strongest in the early stages of the race, but they found their opportunity to attack and make their way through, and they've been able to hold on to their speed. The big story, Team Malizia and their performance in this second lap. This is probably a very good story about calm nerves, working hard, waiting for the opportunity. And as you were saying earlier, Sam, it's not just about boat speed, it's maneuvering and knowing where to be for the breeze. So we've had a little bit of everything today. Some speeds, 20 knots off the line, even some hint at foiling. But the race here in Alicante, in the late hours in the afternoon as the sun come down, the breeze went down with it. But Team Malizia holding their nerve, finding those patches of wind to link together.
Nico, how was it?
Yes, it was super nice. This wind was a bit tricky, so not so easy. Dropping a bit, we had a bit of luck at cancelling that import race, so we were able to take the lead and then to keep it. So, of course, everybody is happy, and as I said to the guys that I am happy, but I am maybe more than happy for all the technical team because they did a great job. They had no Christmas break because they were working on the boat day, sometimes they were working by night, so it was super hard for them to get the boat ready here, and I think it's a nice gift for everybody, but maybe especially for them.